Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, a silver lining for Portsmouth as the town launches a new ferry service. The head of the Nurses Association threatens legal action against those who claim she is trying to undermine the profession. And Michael Henderson Del Sol and Cornel Phillip among the 2018 Golden Drum awardees. The details of the news coming up.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
First up in the news, President of the Dominican Nurses Association, Rosie Felix, says if there is no apology, she will consider legal action to clear herself and colleagues of accusations that they are trying to undermine the nursing profession. Felix released a statement expressing shock at the health minister's claims in Parliament last week that the leadership of the DNA was involved in recruiting nurses for overseas jobs.
Our association is equally disturbed about the social media statements by one Curtis John on July 20, 2018. The post, together with the photograph immediately below it, clearly identifies and accuses the president of the association of, among other things, actively recruiting nurses to send them to England for a finder's fee, and of constantly posting adverts to recruit nurses in a nurses group. The statements in that post and by the Minister of Health, which state or suggest that the DNA president and or leadership, 1. is recruiting nurses for employment in England or overseas, 2. doing so for a finder's fee, 3. has posted adverts constantly or at all to recruit nurses in a nurses group, 4. is acting in any way that is harmful to the health sector of Dominica, 5. is acting in any way as a traitor to her country, are all false, unsubstantiated, and baseless.
Felix says the executive is shocked and totally denies publishing any information related to job opportunities for nurses abroad.
Neither the DNA executive nor its president has had any contact, directly or indirectly, now or in the past, with any recruiting agency. No nursing recruiting agency has made any contact with the executive or its president with a view to soliciting our assistance in the recruitment of nurses. The DNA president categorically declares that she has never posted any link to any nurse recruiting agency on the association's Facebook page, in nurses groups, or on her personal Facebook page. Any action or attempt by the leadership of DNA to export or facilitate the export of nurses would not only be contradictory to the association's nurse retention efforts, but would be a betrayal of our professionalism, patriotism, and the citizens of Dominica.
Felix has threatened legal action against her accusers, asking them to refrain from further defaming her.
If these publications continue, the DNA executive and or its president will have no reasonable alternative other than to pursue legal action for redress. In closing, our association wishes to thank the Honorable Minister of Health for honoring his promise of a repeat uniform allowance to nurses in lieu of uniforms lost due to Hurricane Maria. The association must, however, express its great disappointment that in his contribution to the budget, the minister made no reference to salary scale upgrade for nurses. It is time that the minister identifies and calls out the real recruiter of Dominican nurses for overseas employment. It is undoubtedly the unattractive conditions of work, which include very low salaries, workplace bullying, stretched human resource, and unsafe and oppressive work environment. These conditions, not unsurprisingly, give our nurses no joy in work and no incentive to stay to care for our citizens. In fact, these conditions push out our nurses.
In more news now, Dominican artists have been challenged to use their talent to showcase the country's resilience.
The call came from Minister for Tourism and Culture, Robert Tang, when he addressed the Golden Drum Awards ceremony over the weekend. Senator Tang commended artists for using the arts and culture to showcase Dominica to the world and encouraged them to continue to do so, especially in the wake of Hurricane Maria.
This year, Dominica celebrates 40 years of independence. We give thanks to the Almighty for bringing us to this point, through the ups and the downs, the challenges and the victories. So this is not a time to give up. This is not a time to quit. This is not a time to bring down our country. In fact, our artists and performers and our musical bands have a great opportunity now to create works of art and musical pieces which help to inspire and motivate and help to promote our country as one in which our people are God-fearing and loving, and our people are hospitable and kind, and our country is still strong and standing by the grace of God.
Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence acknowledged this year's awardees for the role they have played in bringing people together through the arts.
Culture is the glue which binds our people together. We can identify with who we are as a people and celebrate the gifts and talents which God has blessed us with. And all those being honored here tonight have played an important part in bringing people closer together in Dominica, whether it's in their community or whether it's across the island or across the Caribbean. They've made their mark in sharing their gifts and talents with others and helping to spread goodwill among the population. So they have been involved in promoting a culture of unity, and for that we commend them. We congratulate them and we encourage them to continue the good work which they have been doing.
This year's Golden Drum awardees were Aileen Burton for the preservation and promotion of traditional dance and Creole wear, Jeno Jacob for the promotion of literary expression, Donovan Samuel for the promotion of ballet drumming and traditional dance, Julian Superior Picky Lockhart for the promotion of calypso, Michael Henderson Delsall for the promotion of contemporary music, and Cornell Phillip, who was absent, for the promotion of bouyon music. Meantime, special recognition awards were bestowed upon the Castleboro Secondary School for the promotion and preservation of traditional dance, NBD Posse Culture Pan for the promotion of steel pan music, St. Luke's Primary School for the promotion of traditional dance and drumming, Paywish Drummers for the promotion of traditional drumming, Fernella Prosper Laura for the promotion and development of garment making, and Jacinta Bruni for the promotion of Kainago art and craft. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And the relocation of Ross University from Dominica to Barbados is expected to cost Dominica 30% of its GDP, but according to the Prime Minister, all is not lost. The Prime Minister, while announcing Ross University's pullout after 40 years, went on to say there is still reason to hope.
We're hopeful, and I am satisfied that the government has already engaged in other opportunities that could, in the medium to long term, almost match the contribution that Ross made to the economy of Dominica over the last 40 years. We cannot be daunted by this. We have to just work harder and recommit ourselves to our country.
Mr. Skerritt says the people of Portsmouth have always been hardworking, innovative and industrious, and government is creating an economic and social dislocation fund to assist those impacted by Ross's departure. In his statement on Friday, the Prime Minister hinted that Dominica could benefit in some significant way from this separation after 40 years of friendship with Ross University.
We made the point to them that the 40 years of association is not 40 days, and that it is only fair, as in any marriage of 40 years, that if there is to be a parting of ways, there should be at least be a sharing of the fruit of those 40 years. Ross has agreed to this in principle, and we're now at an advanced stage of negotiations as to how best Ross can say thanks to Dominica for these 40 years. We are now discussing the specifics, and it would be presumptuous of me to anticipate what their ultimate decision will be. But I think my team and I have made some very strong and reasonable suggestions that I am hopeful will be taken on board by Ross University. Suffice to say that the first and foremost in my consideration was for us to leave a lasting, tangible monument to the warmth of the friendship that existed between Dominica and the Ross University. And later down, in the next few days, we will speak in more specific detail on this particular, very critical point.
A lasting, tangible monument to Dominica's 40-year friendship with Ross University. The Prime Minister did not elaborate, but a statement by the Dean and Chancellor of RUSM makes reference to an appropriate transition of their campus property and buildings. Parliamentary representative for Portsmouth, Ian Douglas, says the absence of an international airport was not a determining factor in a decision by the parent company of Ross University to shut down operations here. Douglas said he met with a group of representatives, stakeholders, including landlords, this past weekend. He said he's confident the country will bounce back from Ross's move to Barbados due to the impact of Hurricane Maria.
In the heyday of the gift industries and the banana industry, there were more persons engaged and employed in the banana industry than even at Ross, and we have survived, and we've moved on. So too, I know for a fact that the people of Portsmouth are very resilient and very resourceful, and we will climb out of this being stronger for it.
People tend to have thought that some actions on the part by of the authorities would have made a difference in terms of Ross's determination to remain with Dominica. In retrospect, do you think that is so? Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that at all, because to me the single most deciding factor for Ross's relocation is Dominica's location, Dominica's geographic location. First of all, we were struck by Tropical Storm Erika, and less than 2 years later, we were again hit by the worst hurricane to hit the Caribbean in recent memory, and totally devastated Dominica, including the campus. The campus was suffered a lot of damage, and so Ross's whole relationship with their insurers and their reinsurers, and the cost of their premiums, all of that, and the cost of relocation, which their insurers have to bear while they recover from any natural disaster. All of these are issues that may have played on their mind in deciding to relocate. So I don't think that is anything that we could have. I mean, they had been coming here without an international airport for 40 years anyway. So I don't think that would have been a factor in their decision to relocate. I think it has to do with the hurricane and how quickly they had to get back on their feet.
The 40-year-old institution, which was founded by Dr. Robert Ross in 1978, is owned by Ad Talem Global Education, formerly DeVry, which acquired the company in 2003. Douglas said under this current management, the Ross University relationship with Dominica is different.
So this is very heartbreaking for us. But then again, we recognize that, the school has evolved as it has grown over the 40 years, and it has changed hands. And the relationship that we enjoyed with Dr. Robert Ross when he owned the school may not have been the same relationship that had been engendered by the new owners at Talem in recent times. And they have taken a business decision, a financial decision to move. They think it's probably in the best interest of the school.
His recent meeting with stakeholders would have discussed the economic impact due to the university's pullout.
At the same time, we were hearing of the announcement of Ross's relocation. We were introducing a new ferry service from Guadeloupe directly into Portsmouth. So we believe that Portsmouth has tremendous physical and natural attributes that lend itself to business and commerce development. And so we believe even now there are 3 hotels that are being aggressively built and completed in the Portsmouth area. And so that in itself will create tremendous economic activity in the area and generate employment.
Douglas says government awaits a response from the university's management on a request to offer the university's property at Picard to Dominica as a goodwill gesture. You are watching Channel 5 News. We will continue after this.
Si ou ni maladi HIV et bien maladi sexuelle, si ou pas protéger corps lors qu'à des sexe avec plusieurs monde, ça kay mette la vie ou en gros danger. Ou ka exposer tout partenaire au présent et que tant qu'il ka vini avec maladie. Servi yon condom chaque fois ou ka ni sexe. Changer qui est important pour découvrir maladie à bonheur ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Pour responsabilité, protéger corps et puis les autres. Examiner corps. Aider du bout si même maladie HIV et l'autre maladie sexuelle.
Thank you for staying with us. A silver lining on a dark cloud is how the commencement of a ferry service in the north of the island is being described.
Val Ferry began operations between Portsmouth and Guadeloupe on Friday. The same day, Prime Minister Skerritt announced that Ross University would be leaving Dominica. Mayor of Portsmouth, Titus Francis, says while the loss of Ross is a huge blow for the people and economy of Portsmouth, Val Ferry is offering a new opportunity for the Dominican people.
We still have what it takes as a town. I mean, look, today we're going to welcome the operation of a ferry service between Portsmouth and Guadeloupe. That in itself is going to bring in some economic activity to the area. So when one door is closed, others are opened. It in itself is beginning to present some ray of hope for our farmers, other entrepreneurs who will see Guadeloupe as an emerging market in a number of ways and will take advantage of the presence of the ferry service right here in Portsmouth.
Minister for Tourism and Culture, Robert Tong, says the addition of Val Ferry services to Dominica will help to increase access into the country and reduce the instances of overnighting in Guadeloupe.
So with Val ferries being new, it makes it easier for them to adjust their schedules to interact with that. So as you know, the Norwegian Airlines has these amazing flights coming from, price flights coming from New York, coming from even from Canada right now into Guadeloupe. But the challenge has always been they came in relatively late and the connections for air access was too late. The connections for the ferry was also too late. So they are being smart. They are seeing the opportunity. They're going to ensure that their vessel schedule interacts with that of Norwegian Airlines, so persons can come in the same day, which means they don't have to overnight, they're not wasting time, and they're not spending additional monies.
Tong says the ministry's efforts at improving access to Dominica are working.
So we are also doing the same thing. We're also doing the same thing with the with A&T. So the same thing will happen. So persons will have two options. So persons who have lots of luggage will obviously use the ferry because it makes it a lot easier. Persons who want more of an experience will come on the ferry. Those who like using the planes or are scared of the sea will come in from there. So the whole issue is to provide additional access into Dominica and at the right times to make it easier. So these things that we're working on, as you can see, they are working. And because of these things, that is what has allowed us to improve on the number of people coming to Dominica plus our marketing. So it is working, but we have to continue.
Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, says she is willing to offer scholarships to Dominican students to pursue post-secondary studies in that CARICOM state. Recognizing Dominica's post-Hurricane Maria adjustment has been difficult, Mottley said her government wants to assist Dominica in any way it can.
And we believe that we as a country, in circumstances where we may be benefiting now, not because of anything other than the circumstances of nature, that we would also like to consider and to have the Cabinet consider offering scholarships to Dominicans at the post-secondary level in Barbados, because we do recognize that Ross's presence would have generated a level of economic activity in Dominica.
Mottley says the vision to create a common community investment policy within CARICOM will also aim to push CARICOM states as a region which offers top-class education services.
If we can get to a point where we can work together as a region within the context of the single market to see how best through the establishment of a common community investment policy, which we're looking to establish by the end of the year within the single market and single economy, that if we can do that, then we can work to make sure that all of us can complement each other within the region with respect to the range of services that this region offers. It is not only and should not only be regarded as a zone of peace, but it should be regarded as a zone for the provision of top-class educational services, as is already happening. So we look forward to working with our friends in Dominica.
Ross University's economic impact to Barbados is estimated at over $100 million annually, or 1% of Barbados's GDP.
We feel, and have always said, that a student, for the most part, is a 9-month tourist. And we are in the business of tourism. We have a strong legacy in education, and we have also had a strong legacy in the provision of health care. It is a perfect marriage for the people of this country.
Ross University will operate from the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center in Barbados. And the College and Institutes of Canada has extended support to the Faculty of Applied Arts and Technology at the Dominica State College in the areas of training, tools and equipment costing over $80,000 East Caribbean dollars. The support provided by this institution was channeled through Algonquin College in Canada. 2 carpenters who are current technicians at Algonquin College have been attached to the DSC for 2 weeks to facilitate the training of architectural, building and civil engineering students. The outcome of the training is the erection of a poultry house built to reflect proper building standards. It is expected that the poultry facility will benefit the agriculture students in practical poultry production. President of the Dominica State College, Dr. Donald Peters, has expressed appreciation to the Canadian institutions for their continued interest and support of the DSC's agricultural program, which is a significant investment in preparing young farmers to lead the agriculture industry. Dr. Peters has also given special recognition to the dedicated lecturers and Dean of the Faculty of Applied Arts and Technology for their service.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. A silver lining for Portsmouth as the town launches a new ferry service. The head of the Nurses Association threatens legal action against those who claim she is trying to undermine the profession. And Michael Henderson, Del Sol and Cornel Phillip among the 2018 Golden Drum awardees. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.